Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Breaking Bedrock. My name is Fiasco. Thank you so much for joining Bees and me in our new bee area. Little confusing, I'm sure, but aren't they cute no matter what? Look at these little guys. The little babies. Very happy with how they turned out. Anyways, on to today's project. It has to do with the bees. I didn't just make them for no reason. We are going to be making a honeycomb farm inside of Mama Bee here. As you can see, I've put some glass here. Also installed a new resource pack for this smooth glass, which I like. However, it did change the look of this bee from when I originally designed it in creative. Also, if you notice in the time lapse, the eyes were a little bit different. I forgot that it was black wool instead of white wool, and I couldn't figure out why they looked so insanely derpy. I was like, this isn't cute. This is weird. So anyways, we are going to be working inside of Mama Bee today. So we'll just pop down here, and this is where our honeycomb farm is going to go. And Mama Bee is going to poop out the honeycomb right there, and it's going to be collected on the ground. So this design is going to work for honeycomb and not honey bottles. I'll make a honey bottle farm a little bit later on, but I'll probably make it a little bit bigger just because honey bottles are less efficient, I guess. You only get 2 of them, I think, a day per hive. So I'm going to want a bigger scale farm for that. So I might leave that for my industrial district, which I will be making at some point. But for now, I think starting off with a little baby farm is going to be fun. So I kind of need to wait for it to be night, but I got to make sure that this is kind of all ready first. So I believe how it'll work is the hives will go here in a row, and there's going to be a block of flowered azalea leaves here for the bees to pop out and check out right there, and then they pop back in, and that's where they get their pollination from, because they can get their pollination from these blocks, which is perfect, because it kind of screwed up the farms when they started realizing that flowers were full blocks, and then they completely negated that by adding the azalea stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, never mind. If you do, then good for you, I guess. I don't know. Okay, I need some solid blocks here. And I guess I'll just use more yellow terracotta. It doesn't really matter. I think in creative I used copper, so I had that on the mind, but I don't want to use up my copper on something that no one will ever see. Except for you, I guess, because you're watching this video. Anyways, enough rambling. Let me throw this together and I will show you what I came up with. And here are our little bees all in their containment cells. So those are dispensers on top of them, and they are shearing every time a bee goes into the hive. No, every time the hive's level changes, which might actually mean I need to manually fire a few of them, because a bunch of them were full when I do that? Yes, I can. When I place them in here. So I don't know if their level actually will change if it's at max. So just to be safe, let's fire all of those off. Okay, and as you can see, the honeycomb got picked up from underneath the leaves with our little thing here. Except for some of them went right there for some reason. This farm, I'll be the first to admit, isn't the best. It most definitely is a little bit lossy. Sometimes the honeycombs will end up kind of in the blocks. Sometimes they're going to end up like right here. And if I put this hopper right here, then it'll be locked from that, so there's no point, and et cetera, et cetera. So there is, there is some loss to it, but whatever. Just in those honeycombs, plus the ones that we kind of already had full, we got 29 already. So not bad. Now the only thing left to do is hook it up to a auto dropper so that our little bee here poops it out and goes boop and down, I guess, where that scaffolding is. I'll put a chest and a hopper there just so I don't have to fly into the bee every time we want to harvest it. Now, I believe this bee should be loaded while I am in my base and if I'm at my iron farm. It should be close enough, although I'll probably AFK kind of split the difference between the two if I do end up AFKing here, just to make sure. So let's get that auto dropper hooked up. And it should be as simple as that. I'm going to put buttons in there. Yes. Okay, perfect. I'm going to disconnect it for right now, though, because there is one thing that we need, and I don't think I have any. Good night, little bees. Enjoy your sleep. And what I need is a, whoops, cobweb. And if you don't know, droppers kind of shoot a little bit, that's why I need the honeycomb. Droppers kind of shoot a little bit wild, and dispensers as well. And so, and I don't have any. If you put a cobweb right underneath a dropper or a dispenser, right where the mouth is, it will always fall perfectly straight. So it'll dispense it right in the center, and because it's not being shot, it is dropping after it makes its way through the cobweb, it stays straight, which I can demonstrate once I have some, but I don't have any. So we need to go on a bit of an adventure to see if we can find some, which hopefully shouldn't be too big of a deal. I found some the other day, but I was most definitely not carrying any shears on me, which was a bummer. So let's go on a little flight and see if we can find ourselves a abandoned mineshaft. Definitely found this legitimately, no chunk base used at all, haha. Aha, this is what I was looking for. This is the jackpot for cobwebs. Hopefully we can just do this one trip for these and won't have to worry too much about it in the future. Pretty situational, how, when, oh good, it didn't ruin my cobwebs. But now I've got to wait for it to slowly sift through them. Shoot. Or if I destroy them, maybe. Aha! God, I hate gravel. And I guess I'll record this just in case in the future I ever need coordinates for a cave spider spawner, which probably not gonna lie. But just in case, maybe we want to farm every mob or something like that. Anyways, just about done here. Going to grab these last few, and then we are out of here. All right, now all we got to do is... Ooh, fancy scaffolding. Fancy meeting you here. All we got to do is get back up underneath Bert here. Bert is what I've decided to call our bee. And then we will place a single cobweb right there. Now, when something is dropped out of that dropper, it should line up perfectly in the center of this block, which we will use to our advantage by just putting a hopper right below it. Just like so. So we can open our chest when we need to, and it's pretty well hidden unless you're at this angle here. This probably will get switched up later. Maybe I'll put a building down here. Looks like a little beehive or something like that. But for now, that will do just fine. So now all we have left to do is connect our piece of redstone. And it's cycling through. This thing does crank out honeycomb at a pretty good pace. It's not perfect by any means, but if I leave this running for, a few hours, especially if we can, get an auto sleeper or something, skip those nights, this thing is going to produce more honeycombs than we need. At least for now. As I was talking about earlier, we're going to have an industrial... Hold on. Professional. We're going to have an industrial district set up, and I'm hoping to get going on that pretty soon because there's a lot of things that I need that, quite frankly, are best mined industrially. For example, prismarine. I do not want to have to tear down another ocean monument manually. That's, even just stone and things like that, but that all needs to get planned out kind of a little bit more carefully. So when I have that planned out, we will put a few more honeycomb and honey bottle farms in there. So with that said, Bert is basically done. We don't really need to come back in here necessarily, so we are going to cover that up, get our bed off of here, and that should be it. We are probably going to need a few more big flowers around here just for the sake of there not just being the one. Maybe I will scatter a few more in throughout the island here. And I suppose I should make sure that those ones actually made it down here. They did! Perfect! Okay, we got the block right. Yeah, it's basically foolproof. There shouldn't be anything that knocks those honeycomb off course from there to this carpet right here. Nothing that I know of at the very least. So let's get a few more of these flowers sprinkled in throughout the island. And just like that, a short while later, some flowers are done. Yay, go me. Some of them turned out cute, some of them turned out ugly. as flowers do in nature. Not all are pretty. Oh, there goes some honeycomb. I have actually left this overnight and a little bit during the day to AFK at the iron farm and this honeycomb farm, and pleased to say it is producing. It got about 2 of these rows overnight. So not crazy efficient, but for, you know, wax and copper and things like that, it should do the trick for now. And yeah, just a couple of these flowers in here to make it seem like that one isn't so out of place. And as we develop this island, if we decide we like the big flowers, I'll just design some more, or maybe look up cuter designs, because these ones, I actually kind of like that one. I had to waterlog a block under there so that that coral wouldn't turn gray. Very fancy. So that takes care of our bee project, and I guess the next thing to do is grab some of this honeycomb and go and wax our copper, finally, because I have just been hitting it with my axe as I've been walking past, and getting kind of sick of doing that. So I guess we'll try to do this in order here, and I'll just go along, and hopefully, if I don't go too fast, I can make sure I hit everything. And if I do miss one, it'll oxidize, and I'll notice it later on. Now that that's done, we can put our honey farm project to rest. It is basically 100% done, besides perhaps a more sophisticated collection system in the future. Let's just put our extra supplies away and get on to our next project. And for our next project, we are going to break the law and acquire some illegal blocks in the game. That's right, we're going to the dark side, and we're going to use an exploit, kind of, I guess it's more of a bug, to try and acquire some of these portal blocks. If you didn't know, you can actually get those purple, shiny, floaty blocks in the game. They're an actual block in creative that you can use, and you're not supposed to be able to get them in survival Minecraft, but, you know, whatevs. There's a lot of things that we're not supposed to do that we do. So staying in 100% survival, I am going to try and get those. And I'm going to follow a tutorial that I find online. There's a couple of them, so I'm not really sure what one I'm going to use yet. But I'll set it up, and then I'll show you how it works. So I just did this from memory, but I'm pretty sure this is all there is to it. It is just a dispenser with a water bucket, and then this dispenser is going to have some flint and steels in it. Let's just put a few in for now. We're going to burn through these pretty quickly, I have a feeling. So I'll set up a better thing later. But yeah, this snow block pulsates back and forth. This gets turned on and off to break the portal. Then this gets turned on and off to light the portal. Similar mechanics to our gold farm, except for this snow block, it should work. Let's just try. So let's get that. It's not working. Okay. Okay. Maybe we'll try slowing it down a bit. Okay, that did work. Let's try just one tick. Okay, not perfect, but it does work. So now, oh, there goes the snow block. Okay. So that didn't go great. Didn't go great at all. Let's try putting you back. And maybe I will actually take a look at the tutorial just to see where I'm going wrong here. I think maybe I just aimed a little bit too close to the snow block. Let me try one more time. No, it broke it again. Okay. You know what? If children can do this, I can figure it out too. So let me check out the tutorial, and I'll see where I'm going wrong here. Okay, we're just going to turn that down because that got a bit much. So yeah, I just changed the redstone ever so slightly, and now if I hold down in the right spot, oh, there we go. There we go. Oh my goodness. I usually don't do illegal things, so this to me feels like I'm committing a crime in real life. Like my heart's racing Just worried someone's going to come around the corner. I'll be like, nothing. I'm not doing anything. Okay, cool. So now, let's just turn that off. That's probably, yeah, I was going to say that'll probably melt the snow. I'll keep that in a dark-ish area just because I believe this snow block can melt. And I've only got 6. Wow, we already have 20. That really cooks her. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you what these do. So if I put this down here, that is the portal frame block. And if I go into this, here's hoping this works, it takes me into the nether, as it normally would, into the nearest nether portal. So if we come back in, this should bring me to my regular nether portal and not that little block. Exactly like that. Also, this is currently the way that I have in and out of underneath here, so I do need to build a proper entrance at some point. Now, if I want to get rid of this block, all I need to do is put a block beside it and it will disappear because the game realizes at that point that that block shouldn't be there. So I don't exactly know why I want these blocks right now. I don't necessarily have a plan for them, but they do look pretty cool though, right? Look at that, huh? Very fancy. I think I'm going to try and incorporate these into farms to make them more efficient, where in a regular farm, if you need a nether portal, I can save myself like 10 obsidian by using one of these instead. So this is kind of me prepping, anticipating that I'm going to use these in the future. And because it's a bug, it is probably going to be patched. And, you know, that means that we need to take advantage of it now, which is kind of why I jumped on it today. I've just been thinking about it and thinking, ah, man, if they do a hot fix for that and I miss out on these, then I'm going to be upsetty spaghetti. So I'm going to just collect a bunch of these now, and I'll probably leave this setup here, just because this cave is kind of turned into our ugly storage unit, or I guess a pretty storage unit. The things strewn about are ugly. The actual setting itself is not terrible, although unfinished. So I'm going to get to work, and let's see how much flint and steel that burnt up. So this will burn through flint and steel pretty quickly too. But if we can get, you know, a decent supply of these now and not have to worry about it later, that's great for me. So I'm going to get back to work and just kind of, I don't know, grind at this thing for a few minutes and see how many of these portal blocks we can actually get. And I think that that'll be more than enough for now. I just stopped because it got kind of boring, but I got plenty of flint and steels, and when I feel like it, I'll just come down here and kind of chip away at this for a little while. Maybe try to get a double chest would be ideal, but if not, not a big deal. And for all I know, Mojang could patch this tomorrow and just delete all of those blocks from my inventory. And that's just part of the game. If they do that, no hard feelings, you know. We take advantage of these things while we can, and when we're gone, or when they're gone, pardon me, I'm staying forever, when they're gone, we don't complain about it, you know. So that is the nature of the beast. And that is also the end of the episode. My name is Fiasco. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. I'm going to catch you in the next one.